Your 20s can be such a confusing time. I remember spending a considerable amount of my early 20s just wondering when I would start feeling like I know exactly what I was doing. I recently made a video on why your 20s matter, and I want to follow that with this video talking about some of the lessons that I picked from my 20s that made my life a little bit more bearable. I can't say that these lessons helped me to figure out exactly what I wanted to do or what I wanted out of life, but they helped me just see life for, I think, what it is, and less of what I had in mind or what kind of society portrayed life to be. So the first lesson for me was that there is no destination. In my early 20s, I was basically like living for my future. I just was like, if I turn 28, I hope I am, like this. I have achieved this in my career. I have achieved this in my personal life, and blah, blah, blah. So everything I did was really about the 28-year mark. I don't know why I had that 28. Like, it was more of a destination mentality. And so I wasn't really present in what was going on as, I was 22, 23. I was just really thinking about the 5 years or 6 years from then. So when I turned 26, 27, I realized that this destination mentality, it just basically defers your happiness. And so having that mentality just makes you feel like, I will be happy once I achieve this. I'll be happy once this happens. And you're deferring your happiness and your ability to be present in the moment and really seeing what's going on and how fulfilling your life is in the moment, because you're focused on something in the future which you think is going to be very, very valuable to you. But who told you? You might get to that future and you might really achieve that goal, and it means nothing to you. So I learned that there's no destination. Live in the moment. Try to do the best and plan for your future, but it's so important for you to be present in this moment. The second thing I learned is that the more comfortable you are with starting over, the easier your life is. So there are a lot of things that will happen in your 20s that will require you to be comfortable with starting over. It could be a class, it could be a career, it could be where you live, it could be all these things, friendships, everything, relationships. Like, you will have to start over so many times. You'll have jobs and you'll switch jobs, and when you do that, you're basically starting over. And the more comfortable you are with that discomfort of starting over, the easier it gets. If you are really so scared of starting over, you'll find yourself in situations where you shouldn't be in, but you're so scared to start over that you sit in very toxic or uncomfortable places, and you prefer to be in that mess instead of just saying, you know what, let me start over. It's not gonna be easy, it will be challenging, but at least I've done something about it. The third thing is that if you are evaluating between so many different decisions or two difficult decisions where you don't know which one is the right one, make a decision and find out. It is better to make a decision about something than to sit with all these things and buy time, because what you're essentially doing is putting yourself in a situation where you're constantly gonna be asking yourself, what if? That makes you start feeling like you are this person who can't decide on things because you're not sure of your abilities. So when it comes to things like, let's say, your career, or the industry you want to be in, or the friends you want to keep, like, make that decision and find out what's going to happen after that. At some point, your friends will be doing so much better than you, and the worst thing that you can do is to compare yourself to them constantly or blindly. So one thing you realize that within this decade, like, so much changes. Like, maybe you and your friend studied different things, or your friend comes from a different family with a different background, or they are just talented in a specific way that you are not. And so when you're comparing yourself, you're like, thinking you and them are the same person, and that just adds so much stress to your life and to the friendship. You have to get to a point in your friendships where you view them as your friends despite their success or their failure. Then that builds a very healthy friendship where it's all about the connection that we have and not really about what you are really doing with your life and how much money you're making and all these things. The more comfortable you are, especially in your friendship groups and things like that, the easier it will be for you to deal with, the success of people you don't know on social media. We know that our generation, like a lot of people, are suffering from that comparison thing where you just see people on social media, whether you know if it's true or not, but you compare yourself and you start feeling bad about your own success or like your own situation. But if you have built that understanding, especially within the people that are so close to you, the people that you understand their struggles, you understand their success, you understand their background and all those things, if you've learned to be comfortable with this idea that today is me and tomorrow is my friend, but at the same time we're working to be, for all of us to be doing really well, then all these other things on the internet are probably not going to faze you as much as they do if you haven't built that mentality with the people close to you. Too much of anything is bad. You're told, you're in your 20s, live your best life, drink, party, do it, whatever you want to do, because you don't probably have all these responsibilities and you're young, and that's when you figure out who you are and stuff. But too much of anything is bad. A lot of people regret some of the decisions that they made in their 20s because they made money and drank all that money, or they just focused on this one thing, maybe just the career, and forgot about all these other different things. It's so important to be a little balanced in your 20s. So make friends, focus on your career, have fun, do all those things, but in moderation. Like, don't think because you're in your 20s you can afford to just like do a lot of something, be addicted to drugs, and you're like, oh yeah, after all I'm in my 20s, like I can do this. Like, no, too much of anything will come to haunt you later. Build identity capital. According to Professor Meg J, identity capital is a collection of personal assets. It is the repertoire of individual resources that we assemble over time. These are the investments we make in ourselves, the things we do well enough or long enough that they become a part of who we are. I would say the best way to build identity capital is to evaluate the different sides of your life. So, the professional, the cultural, and try to merge those things, like the social aspect of you. So, what is one thing that you're excited and passionate about? And maybe that thing is not really tied to your professional identity. Then you can invest some time in chasing your passion and at the same time chasing your professional identity. What is that one thing that you're really bad at and you're like, I want to get better at this? It doesn't have to be academic, it doesn't have to be professional. It could be, I just want to play this instrument, or I want to be able to run faster and things like that. It could be one thing that you think you're really, really good at and you have no opportunity to showcase it or to really help somebody else with that. And so you take advantage of all these different things and you put them out there into the world and you challenge yourself. Over time, you're building your own identity capital in either cultural, professional, or social standpoint. In all these things, when an opportunity arises, life is so funny because an opportunity will arise where this thing that you've probably been putting time in without even thinking about it will be the thing that is so interesting about you that you will be like, if only I knew what this meant at that time, I would have put in maybe more effort. Like, so it's so important to do other things apart from the things that we are mainly focusing on, like just work and or school and just sitting at home. Do something else to keep you going, because life is more about all these other different things that come in to make your life a lot more fulfilling. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. I love engaging with all of you. See you next week for another video. Bye.